to the first episode of Wonderful Garbage. My name is Angela, and I am so excited to be doing this, and I can't wait to see where this goes. So, I came up with the idea of Wonderful Garbage when I was talking with some people about the whole scandal on Vanderpump Rules and telling them about all the drama. And I was so excited and into it, and other people weren't as much. And I realized, oh, yeah, we all have something that we're really excited about and into that other people might not be. And that's where Wonderful Garbage came to be. So I hope you enjoy our episode. We'll be talking about all kinds of things. It'll be a pop culture recap, review some of my favorite reality shows, and share my opinions that nobody asked for, really. There's gonna be some shade and some shit talking, but it's all in good fun. I could never put my life out there like these celebrities and Bravo celebrities do, so props to them. But I'm gonna talk some shade about the things that we see on TV and social media, but it is all in good fun. So let's get into it. Let's start with our pop culture recap. So I'm gonna start off with one of the biggest, if not the biggest, reality show of the summer, Love Island. So last Sunday, the Love Island winners were announced. We got the OG couple, Cordell and Serena, won the entire thing, y'all. So the way the winning works is America votes on their favorite couple, and they were a couple from day one when they both entered the villa. Had some highs and lows for sure, but it was really cool to see the evolution of their relationship throughout all of this and just really see their genuineness in each other. I've never watched Love Island before, but I am a fan now. I've always heard that the UK series was a lot better than the US series, just a lot more drama, a lot more things going on, but they really brought it this year. And honestly, I only started watching it because of Ariana from Vanderpump Rules. With her being the host of it, it brought in so many more people to watch the series that it's just been it was great. Like, we binged it so much here, and I loved watching it. So they're at a gorgeous villa out in Fiji. Everyone on the show is young and hot, and they want to find love. If you haven't watched it yet, here's a little recap on the show. They are all secluded on an island. They can't have their phones. They can't communicate with anyone outside of the villa. And then everyone comes into the villa and they couple up. They're on this island in this villa for like 6 weeks at least. I heard on, I think, Leah, she's one of the final four. It actually was the runner up with her couple, Miguel. She was saying that they were like secluded in their hotel for like a week before filming started. So they're not really sure what's going on in the outside world. There's different games that they do, some like girls versus boys games, couples versus couples, which always causes some drama. Duh, that's why we're watching. Every couple days, they do a recoupling to see if any of the couples want to match up with somebody else. Maybe they found a connection somewhere else when they were doing the games, or just chilling and hanging out at the villa, which leaves some single people, and then they can go home. Or what they also do is they bring in more hot people called bombshells to shake things up. So sometimes before a recoupling, they'll bring in a bombshell to see who that person wants to couple up with. There is the ultimate relationship test called Casa Amor, where the guys and the girls split up. They go to, so like in this season, the guys left and went to a separate villa. The girls stayed at the original villa. And then they bring in 2 new groups for the boys and the girls. So the girls get a whole new set of guys, the guys get a whole new set of girls, and it gets super messy because all of a sudden these guys forget that they were coupled up with their original girls, and these group of guys were like all horn dogs for these new girls, acted like fools in the new villa, completely forgot, right, that they were with these people. Well, mostly everybody except for Kendall and Rob, because Rob was single. And Kendall was still really into Nicole, except he did egg on the guys to act like fools still. But anyways, Casa Amor brings so much drama, and like I said, it's like a real relationship test to see if these people have any other connections with the people that they bring in. Another drama-filled night is movie night, where they show clips from that we see. We know what's going on, right? But they don't know what's going on because it's currently being filmed. So they get to see clips of other things that they don't get to see. A lot of this season's movie night was about the guys in the new villa with the new girls, which just brings up a lot more drama and chaos because, some of the partners were telling their partner one thing that happened in Casa Amor, and then we see something else, or maybe more that happens on the screens. It's another test of their relationships, and it's just so good. What I really like about Love Island, that it's filmed in real time, so you're getting to see what happens within like a day or so. And it's really cool too, because like everyone's families are watching, so they are keeping track of their loved ones in the villa in real time. I also like that they have a rule about how much you can drink. I heard this, I think maybe from Liv's a podcast episode Liv did, or maybe Sydney, but they can only have 2 drinks a day, which I like because they're not like shit faced stumbling all around the villa, like slurring their words, cussing each other out. Well, they still cuss each other out, but I mean, it would be kind of fun to see them like slurring. But I do like that they have set rules like that because it's a little more put together, I guess, in a way. They do have therapists on site, which was something I was wondering about because like these people, right, they're away from their families, they're away from the real world, they have no idea what's going on. They're put into this like pressure cooker situation with a whole new group of people that they've never met before. And that would drive me crazy, especially if the producers are behind the scenes trying to drive storylines. It would be hard to be in something like that. So on Leah's Call Her Daddy episode, she mentioned that one day she was in like the therapist like 3 times that day because there was so much stuff going on. Like she needed to go and check in and just make sure she was good, she could still be there. She did want to leave at one point, but they were like, no, you should stay. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. So I really do like that they have therapists there on site for someone to talk with them through the process. But just a couple things on this season. Let the people take a shower after they do a messy challenge. So, like, they'll do a game. Sometimes they get all messy and dirty if there's like slime or whatever they're doing. And then right after the game, they go and have post game chats, right? To either talk about what happened in the game, if someone answered something that surprised them. And I get that it's good content to have them talk right after, right? You don't want to miss anything. But there was one scene where they had just finished, I think, the newlywed game. And Janae's mascara and eye makeup was just like running down her face. And she was talking to Kenny, the guy she was coupled up with. And like, he's like trying to listen and like have a conversation. But it's like, Kenny, also tell her like her makeup is all over her face. Like, don't do her like that. So just like let them maybe clean up a little bit, maybe give them like a baby wipe or something. If you don't want them to go have a full shower because you really want to get that content, but help them clean up a little bit, y'all. It's just a lot easier. Also buy them things other than avocados and toast for breakfast. I think like 90% of the breakfasts they did in the villa were avocado toast, which just made me laugh a lot. Some people think have like eggs and cereal and stuff. Let's give them some more breakfast options maybe, or bring in catering. I don't know, but it just made me laugh because every time we watched it, we were like, okay, what are they having for breakfast? Avocado toast? I don't know. That was just me being dumb and talking some shit. There's so much more that I could talk about on Love Island, but if you haven't watched it and you like relationship type shows, then you definitely should. Also, check out the two latest Call Her Daddy episodes. I kind of mentioned them earlier. Alex had Rob and Leah on separately. And God, I love Leah so much more now. I was already a fan. I'm not a bandwagon fan. Like, I really do enjoy her. And she was honestly made for this stuff. Like, her and Alex's banter was, it seemed like so natural and organic, and they just vibed off each other. And she's just really funny. And Rob's was okay. Also, I've seen this going around social media, and I agree. I'm manifesting a Skims campaign for the Love Island winners, whether it's like the winners just Serena and Cordell, or the final four, or the girlies, especially Leah, because she's from Calabasas. So you would think like they might be reaching out to her for a collab or something. But a Skims campaign with the Love Island folks would be amazing to see. I know they would kill it. Oh, also, they're basically in swimwear the entire time, unless they're doing a themed game or they're getting dressed for the night. They're like always in swimwear. Like, so if you like butts and boobs and under boobs and guys in like swim trunks all day with their shirts off, working out, um, Love Island's for you. Which is why I also think they would be good for the Skims campaign, because we already know what they look like half naked. So it just would make sense. Like, they're totally comfortable with it. So when I watch these types of shows, it makes me think of the scripted series Unreal. It's a show on Hulu. It's a couple seasons, so it's not too long to binge if you have some time. But it shows the behind the scenes of a Bachelor-esque type show. And it really shows how the producers influence everything that goes on in the show. So there's producers that are teamed up with a couple of the contestants, and they're trying to drive their storylines, and they're trying to get their contestants to move forward through the show. They're trying to get them to win. So they're super messy and do a lot of things behind the scenes. And so now when I watch these types of shows, it's like, oh, I remember like the producers are really producing some content here, right? There are some things that are definitely authentic. It is a reality show. It's unscripted or unstructured. But that Unreal show, and I think it's on Hulu, really kind of gives you another lens of how these shows are filmed. Again, check out Unreal. Like I said, it's a couple seasons, so you can watch it, within a week or so if you have time. And I like it. I think it's a good show. In some other pop culture news, we have the premiere dates now for Emily in Paris season 4 on Netflix. So they're going to do a 2-part season like we had with the last Bridgerton. So the first part's going to be available to watch on August 15th, and then the second part's going to be out on September 12th. It'll pick up with the love triangle between Emily, Gabrielle, and Alfie, and her navigating her working relationship with Gabrielle, and the new restaurant, and his baby that's on the way with his on again, off again girlfriend Camille. It's lots of drama for a show that people weren't really into in the first couple seasons. I feel like it really picked up more of a following in season 3. Plus, also, it takes place in Paris. So if you are liking the Parisian vibes from the Olympics and you're going to miss it once it's over, we'll get Emily in Paris a couple weeks after. So all will be well. In sports news, Aubrey Plaza, who's one of my favorite actresses, tore her ACL in a knockout game during the WNBA All-Stars weekend last weekend. I'm guessing knockout is like horse. I don't really know. But she still attended the game. She was like right front row with the big ice pack on her knee and her crutches. And I saw a bunch of pictures of her like walking around talking to different people. So go her. Hope you're feeling better. Also, I was reading that she's torn her ACL before playing basketball too when she was filming a documentary like back in 2016. So It just kind of sounds like maybe Aubrey Plaza should take a break from playing basketball because it's like hurting her. um, Also, it's Olympic season! Yay! Opening ceremonies were on Friday, and it kicked off our worldwide event. I had no idea that the opening ceremonies were going on all day Friday, so I got home from work and turned on the TV, and there were all these clips that they were showing of like everyone coming in and just all the rain and everything that happened. But I went ahead and watched the ceremonies and the lighting of the torch and the whole show that evening, and oh, it was so good. I loved how all the athletes came in on boats through the Seine. Like they probably loved not having to walk a whole track or whatever, like they've done in the past Olympics, and just got to chill on a boat. So I was looking up some Olympic stats because I wanted to see just how many Olympians were actually competing. And there's more than 10,000 athletes competing this year, which is crazy. US has the largest number of athletes with 593, and then France is right behind with 573. So that's awesome. Good luck to everyone. I will definitely be watching a bunch of events, and I'm sure I will recap some of my favorite ones coming up. Oh, did y'all see about the Olympic cardboard anti-sex beds? I'm sure you have. But I was looking at an article from People. It said that these beds consist of 3 modules. They allow athletes to choose the mattress firmness and frames, and they can be extended based on a person's size. They are sustainable, and the materials are 100% made from France. They're going to be fully recycled after the games. But so I guess this went viral back in 2021. There was an American track and field runner who he wrote that these beds were aimed at avoiding intimacy amongst the athletes. Beds will be able to withstand the weight of a single person to avoid situations beyond sports. And like, let them have sex. As long as it's like protected and consensual, let them do it. Like they've worked their asses off their entire lives to get to the Olympics, and you're not gonna let them celebrate with some tiki tiki? Come on. Also, if I'm competing in the Olympics, like I'm representing my country, I don't want to sleep in these tiny ass beds. Put me up at the Ritz Carlton or something. Like it's just crazy that they are all not in like some nice hotels. But I get it. Like the people that are visiting and traveling to the Olympics also need somewhere to stay. But it's just funny that they put them in these like shitty beds. There were some videos going around social media of like athletes jumping on the beds, and some were wrestling and tumbling and trying to see if they could break the cardboard under the bed. It was really funny. Also, if people are horny enough, like they're gonna find places to have sex. Like they don't need a bed. I'm sure they're getting it on regardless. Oh, if you're not following the USA rugby player Alona Mar on social media, you need to. She is at over 1 million followers, I think, now on Instagram, and is putting out some of the best social media content. So, yay, sports. Things are going on. Oh, did y'all see that Salt Lake City is going to be hosting the 2034 Winter Olympics? I love that. I really hope the Salt Lake City housewives are going to be filming by then, because can you imagine their Olympic coverage? Lisa Barlow is going to be trying to get like every pre and post Olympic event. She's going to be putting Vita Tequila everywhere. Angie K is probably going to have some like bedazzled snow goggles or something. And if they gave them a segment for commentary on the Olympics, oh my goodness, I would love that. It would be so good. So 2034 can't come soon enough. Speaking of housewives, let's get into our Bravo breakdown. A couple weeks ago, the 100th season of The Real Housewives premiered, with this latest season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, which is so fitting because The Real Housewives of Orange County was the first Real Housewives series that we got back in 2006. Also, what's really cool is that The Real Housewives of Orange County also had the 100th housewife back in season 12. So, a lot of milestones going on with the OC ladies, and I just think it's really cool that all of those happened within the same franchise. Also, did y'all see the new movie promo for the Deadpool Wolverine movie with Shannon and Heather and Ryan Reynolds? I usually fast forward through them because I think they're kind of cringy, but this one was really good. There's a clip of Ryan Reynolds like pitching the Deadpool movie to, I guess, like the producers or whatever. And it's like clips of Shannon and Heather fighting throughout the seasons. And he's talking about like the troubles of friendship and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, there's been so much promotion for this Deadpool movie, but I thought that this Housewives collab was top tier for it. It was really good. Um, we're getting a Bravo dating show. It's called Love Hotel. Um, it's going to stream on Peacock. So, an article from People says the streaming network, which is currently home to Love Island USA, has set a new reality dating series, which will gather eligible singles in a quest to win the hearts of four of the Bravo's biggest bachelorettes. So, again, Love Hotel is a working title. I like it. I think it's cute. But the show's gonna have Luann de Lesseps from The Real Housewives of New York, Countess Luann. I can't wait. Shannon Storms Bedore from The Real Housewives of Orange County. And it's gonna have two Potomac housewives. It'll have Giselle Bryant and Ashley Darby. Filming will take place in September in Cabo San Lucas, where the women will be offered a diverse dating pool. The show is expected to air sometime next year. I'm not a huge fan of Giselle, but I'm interested to see her in a new space like this. I hope she won't be like as stuffy as she usually is on TV, but also super interested to see these bachelors that they're going to be casting. I hope it's not just like F boys who want to be famous or influencers or whatever. Like, I hope it's some fine men because they all really need it, especially Shannon. Shannon's had it really rough ever since she's honestly been on Housewives. We've seen her demise of her marriage with her ex-husband, and then all the divorce drama, and then her just trying to get her confidence back and feeling good about herself. And then she was dating that guy, John, and now they broke up. You're probably aware of that. You've seen all that new relationship drama if you follow any of the Bravo social medias or watch The Real Housewives of Orange County, which we're going to get to in a little bit. But yeah, Shannon deserves it. Luann deserves it. Giselle and Ashley do too. Ashley, her relationship with Michael Darby was memorable, we'll call it. But I'm excited about this show. I think it's going to be good. I love dating shows, as I just recapped a bunch of Love Island. So we'll see what happens when it comes out. Also, did y'all see Teresa Giudice's post about toxic people? So I'm a fan of New Jersey, definitely the old Jersey Housewives. I haven't really watched in the last couple of seasons, and I'm sure there are a lot of you out there in the same boat. I've seen some clips here and there. I am going to start watching it again because I want to see the episodes that are leading up to whatever finale, non-reunion, reunion thing we're getting at Rails. Um, I get that the housewives are supposed to be bringing some drama and some chaos to it. That's why we watch these shows. But I want my drama to be petty. I don't want it to be toxic and like just really messing with their personal lives to a really big extent. It's just hard to watch now. It's not enjoyable. It's a shame, I hope there is a cast shakeup. But I don't know. It sucks the way that it's going. It does need a revamp for sure. So let's get into what Teresa posted a couple days ago on her Insta story. She said, I have been on the Real Housewives of New Jersey for the last 14 seasons, and during that time, I have seen and been a part of my fair share of drama with my castmates. Good. Yes, be aware. You're a lot of the drama. What is happening off camera on social media is absolutely disgusting and is fueled by toxic people who are not affiliated with the show or the cast and are only interested in promoting themselves by spreading their hate through false narratives and lies. So it came out like maybe a couple weeks ago, a month ago by now, that like Teresa and Jen Aiden, who's also on the New Jersey Housewives, had been reaching out to bloggers to talk shit about their castmates. And I think like even sending them clips and giving them like screeners so they could get on socials and talk shit before things were coming out or like as the show was going. So Teresa goes on to say, it has affected all of us on the cast and our families. They are attacking our children, going after our businesses, and they are turning something that is supposed to be entertainment into something very dark and toxic. I definitely agree with the families and the children thing. Like, children are off limits. A lot of the housewives say that in their seasons. You know, you don't want to talk about families. We don't want to talk about children, especially. So definitely agree with that. Like, children are off limits 100%. She ends by saying, this hate and toxicity has to stop. I am asking everyone to stop engaging in any negativity towards my castmates and our families. Enough is enough. Love, 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 Teresa. So, a couple of things. Teresa has been one of the most, if not the most, toxic person on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. If you've ever seen the show, you know. If you've seen clips, her iconic table flipping from season 1. So this coming from her is interesting. People can totally change 100%. I'm all for it. Maybe she's changing now. It's just kind of laughable that she posted it. And I think a couple of her castmates did kind of call her out without calling her out directly on social media. They posted like, you know, okay, you're like being a hypocrite. So it's, you know, it's my opinion. I'm not here to bash anyone. I just think like before you post something about the show being super toxic, take a step back and think about everything you've contributed over the last 14 seasons to bringing toxicity into the show. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm gonna start watching some of the past episodes to get caught up and share my garbage opinions with y'all about it. But just a really interesting post from her. Also, the Real Housewives of Orange County, Jen finally settled her divorce from her husband of 18 years. According to realityblurb.com, they will have joint custody of their 4 kids, which is great. Jen will get around $4,600 a month for child support, and she'll get about $1,700 in spousal support. But the spousal support is contingent on whether or not she marries her new fiance, Ryan, who, if you don't know, is involved in the LA Dodgers pitchers, interpreters, $16 million gambling scandal. And like the the episodes that we're seeing right now with Jen and Ryan, like he took Jen in after getting evicted from her rental, which we will talk about in a little bit. Opened up his home to her and her kids and is taking care of them that way. So that is good. But this whole gambling thing is pretty intense. So interesting to see how that's gonna play out. So yay for the settlement, but will we get wedding bells from Jen and Ryan? Who knows? I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. And so while we're talking about one of our current OC housewives, let's get into the recap of this week's Real Housewives episodes. Like I mentioned, I'm only watching Orange County and Dubai right now because just New Jersey isn't hitting for me. But I am going to start watching it again. So let's start with the Real Housewives of Dubai. So last episode ends with Brooks and Talene fighting. Brooks calls Talene a beggar, which leads to them yelling in the street outside of Caroline Stanbury's new house, where she was having a little housewarming dinner to bring the girls over. But they are full on yelling at each other in the street. Producers are involved, trying to hold them back, trying to get it quiet. Talene is like smoking a cig in this really, really cute black and white set. Um, and apparently you can get arrested for yelling in the middle of the street in Dubai. So like let's not have that happen. We don't need any more housewives getting arrested. Yeah, we don't need that. So then we cut to a scene where Caroline and Sergio, her husband, are in matching PJs and hungover in bed. They're talking about how the night went before. And Stanbury's just really happy that nobody ruined her $50,000 couch. But the drama between Brooks and Talene ruined the night instead. They talk about the upcoming girls' trip that they're taking to Bali, and Sergio's like, "What am I going to do without you, honey?" And it's like, oh my goodness, have a life outside of just following your wife around everywhere. Like, I love that he's obsessed with her. I think it's great that he wants to spend time with her, but like, he needs to find something else to do and not just follow Stanbury around all day. I was thinking about it, he's like Shorts from Vanderpump Rules, like this really cute, I'm a little like sweet, cute little guy gimmick. Like, ugh, it's so annoying, and I don't know how Stanbury handles it. Um, Something else that I really liked in the episode was one of Chanel Ayan's confessionals. So she's in this really beautiful white dress, and all of a sudden she has like two white tiger heads coming off of like each one of her shoulders. And at first I didn't see them. Like I thought maybe they were props in the back. I don't know. I was just kind of looking at like Ayan, her dress, and then like out of my peripheral I saw these two tiger heads, and you're like, oh my goodness, like what is she wearing? Where did she get these outfits from? But it is Chanel Ayan. If you watch the show, you know she's all about fashion. She's going to wear something extravagant in anything that she does on here. So it's just her fashion, but I was like, oh my goodness, like what is happening? So all the girls meet up at the airport. Sergio is actually coming in with Caroline, and like he has his own luggage, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm going on the trip too. And Ayan, like her whole demeanor changes, and she's like, no, you're not. You're not coming on our girls trip with us. Which I was also going to be pissed if Sergio was going to join and like stay in a separate hotel room or something. Like, no, that is just like cut the cord. You cannot come on our girls trip, especially because he showed up at their last girls trip last season. He came in on a jet ski because I think like Stanbury and the girls were fighting and she was having a hard time. She had called Sergio to tell him about it, from what I can remember. And then all of a sudden, like, he comes in on a jet ski to crash their girls' trip. Like, no, there needs to be a rule. Husbands cannot crash girls' trips. No, no, no. We want them to be on their own, bringing all the drama. The men need to stay out of it. So they all get to the hotel in Bali, except for Caroline Brooks, who was fighting with Talene. No one's heard from her. They have no idea what's going on. So they all go out to dinner and they just hope she's okay, hope she's on her way. Ayan, another fashion moment, is wearing this bedazzled bra and short set with this like really beautiful magenta jacket train thing. And it reminds me of the Selena bustier where she has like that gorgeous bejeweled bra. But it's also giving like Corella vibes. I don't know. Just another fashion moment from Ayan. So they're at dinner. They're talking about Brooks not being there yet. And then Ayan asks Talene, like, what happened at Stanbury's house? Because she had heard that Talene was chasing Brooks around the house and, like, yelling at her, and they were arguing, and Talene gets pissed. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, it was a bad night. It was not good. Neither of us did good. We weren't on our best behavior. Like, I just don't want to talk about it. And then she gets pissed thinking that, like, Ayan is trying to be messy and maliciously bring something up. Ayan wasn't being messy here, but she gets messy later. Don't you worry. But they're able to talk through it. Ayan's like, no, I'm just asking for clarification. Like, I'm not trying to get on your case. I just want to know, like, what happened at Stanbury's house? Because I heard it was drama. So they were good. Resolved. They go back to the villa, which reminded me of Love Island. Can't get rid of it. We can't get away from Love Island, y'all. They're getting drinks, they're having fun in one of the rooms, and then Brooke shows up all of a sudden. Um, she says she flew in on a private jet. I think there's a consensus here that she probably did it, but hey, if she was able to charter a private jet from Dubai to Bali, more power to her. I love that. And if it's true, then that is what I want from my housewives. I want them to be on private jets all over the place. Um, so they're drinking a little bit, and it almost seems like they're having this like forced dance party in a way. Like they're trying really hard to have like fun friend chemistry. And then like all of a sudden they stop. They're like drinking, having fun, and then they're like, okay, we have to go to bed. Like we have to get on the catamaran in the morning. And like, no. If this was New York Housewives or Beverly Hills or Miami, there would still be a group partying their asses off, getting drunk, having fun, acting a fool, and being hungover on the catamaran the next day. Like that's what I want from this show. They need to be a little more relaxed and let loose and let it be more authentic, not like forced fun. So we'll see what happens. I was hoping that they would redeem themselves on this boat ride that they have the next day, but it was kind of boring. So we get to the boat the next day. Ayan and Brooks are having a chat. Ayan really wants to be the peacemaker and have Brooks talk to Talene so they can make up, because Brooks is friends with Talene, and Talene joined the show, I guess, kind of through Brooks. So Ayan's like, this is your friend. Like, you guys were friends outside of the show. You've been friends for 8 years. Make up. Go talk to her. And then it's just kind of boring talk after that. Brooks ends up talking with Stanberry, and Stanberry, she is just ruthless. She was just like, the spiritual journey that you're on is not authentic to who you are whatsoever. Like, you're drinking the Sarah juice. You're trying to be this like way more spiritual person than you actually are. And it's just like not your honest self. So gives Brooks a little something to think about, but whatever. Some of the girls jump in the water. Talene jumps in and her top falls off, which is like, oh my goodness, scary. And Brooks is in there with her in the water, and they're like laughing and giggling about it. And like Brooks is trying to make sure she's okay. So that was a nice moment to see that they could like put their dumb drama aside and just laugh and have fun and check in and make sure that, you know, Talene was okay. Ayan and Stanberry stay on the boat, and they end up talking about a lunch that they went to a couple days ago with Talene. And this apparent voice note that they got from Sarah. So Sarah is in this voice note saying that she wasn't a fan of Brooks, but she isn't saying it to the group. Like, she's showing face to the group that she's friends with Brooks and she's like on Brooks's side. She's Brooks's fan, really wants her to do well, is trying to help her on this spiritual journey, but then is talking shit behind Brooks's back. So more on that in a moment. It comes out at dinner, and y'all, it's so good. It's like peak Housewives. The boat ends. They go to dinner. Brooks's spiritual journey comes up. And Stanberry clarifies that she wants her to work on herself. Like, she wants her to be the best version that she can be. Just the way that she's going about it isn't authentic. So she was just like letting everyone know, like, look, I'm all for her. I'm supporting her. But this isn't how Brooks should be handling her stuff, which who knows? Like, let Brooks figure it out, right? Which then Sarah chimes in, and Stanberry calls her out for being Brooks's mouthpiece, like talking to her, explaining things for her on her behalf. And Sarah and her friend Saba, who she brings on the show as a friend of, says like, well, that's what friends do, you know, like if a friend can't explain themselves or they're having a hard time finding the words, but I know what she's saying or what she's meaning, I am going to speak on behalf of her. And Stanberry just thinks it's total BS, which really gets Stanberry going, because she's like, okay, if you want to be supporting Brooke's spiritual journey and you want to be her friend. And then you need to have some accountability here. And she brings up the voice note that she heard from Ion, where Sarah was saying that she wasn't a fan of Brooke's. And I love it. Again, I want my housewives to have petty drama, calling each other out, at a fancy dinner. That's where we get some of the best housewives dramas when they're all together for dinner. Um, but plot twist, y'all. Lisa was the one who got the voice note from Sarah, shared it with Ion, and I think she said she shared it because she wanted to make sure that she understood what Sarah was saying. And that's what Ion brought up to Talene and Stanbury at lunch, which is interesting. So when they were at lunch, Talene had asked Ion, like, oh, Sarah sent you this voice note? And Ion's like, oh, no, let's not go there. But then continues to talk about the drama. Turns out she said that because Lisa was the one who sent the voice note to Ion. Ion didn't get it from Sarah. So Ion was being messy for bringing that up to Stanbury and Talene because it wasn't even her own drama. And now Lisa is pissed. And Lisa and Ion are best friends at this point. But now we're starting to see the rift happen that we were hearing about. And that's where the episode ends. So we are going to pick up next week at that dinner. I'm sure there's going to be so much more drama. This girls' trip is just getting started. And I'm looking forward to it. All right, so Real Housewives of Orange County. Hard take, and I think a lot of people are kind of agreeing or like in the same boat now from stuff that I've seen on social media. I'm not a fan of Alexis. I'm not excited about her being back on the show. I'm not feeling how she's coming in. It's just like she's trying too hard, like coming in and creating all this drama and like putting her foot down. I think it would have been cool if they maybe brought her in mid-season. But, you know, it is what it is. She's here now. So Alexis used to be on The Real Housewives a while back. She is now dating Shannon Beador's ex-boyfriend. So Shannon was dating this guy, John, for I think like 3 years. They broke up, and then 2 months later, John and Alexis are dating. So drama there, right? A reason to bring her back on the show. So she's coming in all hot. She thinks she's big shit because she has John, Shannon's ex-boyfriend, and it's just going to throw it in her face the entire season. And it really sucks because I am a fan of Shannon, and like I said, she has been through a lot on the show since the beginning. She's always been real. She's always been authentic. And it would have been nice to see her have some time to process the end of this relationship. It was a pretty big relationship for her after getting divorced and all of that drama. So now that it's over, it's just like she doesn't have any time to grieve it with her friends on the show because they immediately brought in Alexis at the beginning to just start drama. So at the end of last week's episode, Jen and Gina are sitting down in a really cute little coffee shop, yelling at each other, not caring who's around. So Gina's a real estate agent and she helped Jen get into a rental, but Jen is getting evicted from it because she can't afford rent. Jen was waiting for that divorce settlement that we talked about earlier. She finally has it now, but when this was filmed, she didn't have the money to pay for that. So Gina got pretty upset. And Gina lost, I think, like $50,000 on this rental. So that's hard, you know? There was a really funny line that Gina was like, oh, so like you're not paying your rent, but you can get your hair and makeup done. And Jen has such a good housewives clapback. She's like, just because my life is falling apart doesn't mean my hair has to fall apart like yours. if y'all remember, if you watched OC a couple seasons ago, Gina had these like horrific extensions put in, and you could just like see them. They weren't like attached well, and they didn't like flow well in her hair. And so it was just like a really good housewife line. I love stuff like that. Gina and Jen keep talking and yelling over each other. Gina gets fed up. She leaves the cafe and is still yelling at Jen outside, but like, Jen can't hear you, sweetie. You're just yelling at the cameras, which I get. Please yell at the cameras. We want to hear all the shit you're talking, but it was just really funny. So Gina gets in her car. She calls Emily. Jen calls Shannon. Gina and Emily are totally talking shit, but that's what the show's about. It's shit talking. I'm on Gina's side ultimately, but her delivery was totally wrong. Like, but also it is housewives to fight like in a cute coffee shop, fighting in public, right? It's like Housewives 101. But she does need to be careful, I think, about how much she does share about that rental agreement on air, because at the end of the day, she is a real estate agent and she shouldn't really be putting all of that out there anyway. So the ladies are going to play flag football together on the beach, which I think sounds like a lot of fun. So it cuts to the ladies getting ready for their flag football game. It cuts to Tamra, who's getting ready and talking shit about Shannon, of course, saying like, "Oh, Shannon's probably wearing some like dumb costume," which like I'm not a fan of Tamra. Haven't really been. She does give good TV. Gives us good housewife drama, like one of the greatest. But just like whatever, shut up, Tamara. Just get ready. But then it does cut to Shannon getting ready, and she is trying to iron on some letters on a jersey, and she's like putting it down. She's like ironing. She's like trying to do it, or one of her people's trying to do it, and then they realize that the iron's not even on, which I love, and it's so peak Shannon. Like, of course, she's like trying to do something, and then like it's not set up how it's supposed to be. Oh, it made me laugh. So they get to the beach for their flag football game. The girls start coming in. They're at this like cute little bar on the beach. It looks really nice. Katie, our newbie for the season, shows up, and I am liking her so far. I hope that she just stays chill and like easy and gets along with the ladies. Like, I don't want her to come in hot and start drama right off the bat. Like, just get to know everybody, see who you vibe with, have fun. That's how you're going to get to stay on the show, and then maybe create a little drama at the end. Shannon comes in her costume. She has her jersey on, a sweatband, maybe wristbands. I don't know, but she's so funny. I love her. All the ladies plus like some random friends that they have are there. They are starting to warm up by doing squats and drinking margaritas. And I think that might be my new workout routine. So they break off into teams. So the captains are Tamra and Emily. So on Tamra's team, we have Jen, Alexis, Katie, and some other people. And then on Emily's team, we have Gina, Emily, and then some other friends. And then our resident super hella rich lady, Heather, is the ref, of course. Because, like, what else would Fancy Pants be doing? You would not expect her to actually be playing football. So then they sit down in their teams and they start decorating shirts, and they come up with team names and, of course, doing some gossiping while they're working on it. Shannon asks, I think Emily or Gina, like, what did Alexis say about her sex life with John? Because apparently in last episode, Alexis was saying that her and John were having sex 4 times a day. And Emily was like, I would die if I had sex 4 times a day. I would hide in the closet, which I think is so funny. So remember, Alexis is now dating John, who is Shannon's ex. We also find out from Shannon that John is now bringing Alexis to the same gym that they used to work out at together, that him and Shannon used to work out at together. And I just feel like they're both being really thirsty, like trying to push their relationship in Shannon's face at any chance that they get. And it's like, if you were confident in your relationship and secure, I feel like, and adults about it, like you wouldn't be putting it out there like this. It's cringy, it's too much, it's annoying. So they finally get to play football. They play like a little bit. They're like running up and down the beach, throwing the ball. Heather's blowing her whistle. She's loving all the power. Emily like pulls Katie down at one point to play defense. Shannon scores a touchdown, but Alexis has actually pulled her flag before she scored, but she gets the point anyway. At one point, Gina intercepts the ball. She scores again. Emily's team wins, and it really looked like a lot of fun. I liked it. They all go back to the bar that they were at the beach after the game. They all sit down together as a group, and Jen and Gina get to talk. So they haven't seen each other since their little cute coffee shop argument that they had the other day. Gina comes in empathetic, though, but does stand her ground about what happened with the rental. She stuck her neck out for Jen. She didn't have them run a credit report with the rental. She was able to get her in and then gets evicted soon after. It's, she's like, it's messing up like my relationships as a realtor. And then looks bad for her just all around. And then Gina calls Jen a squatter, which was not great. Jen opens up and she says that she married really young. Her husband took care of all the finances. She's never had a credit card in her name. So now that she's, separated and divorced from her husband, she's learning how to be financially independent in her mid-40s. And I think that was a really big bonding moment for the group because they were all like, oh, like, this lady is becoming financially independent now. And like they all get it, which is something I really do like about these shows is that they do sometimes break these societal norms where they are having businesses for themselves and they're making their own money and they're doing their own thing. And so it was nice to see them, she's like, I don't know how to make income and make enough income at this point to support all of my kids and myself. Also, I think Gina was saying that she kind of sees herself in Jen because Gina also went through a divorce 2 or 3 years ago. And so she knows how hard it is. And, Gina has kids as well. And so trying to pick yourself up off your feet and trying to create this like new life. I thought it was a really good scene for them. Then Gina opens up and she lets the group know that Travis is moving out. So Gina and Travis have been together about a couple years, like right after they had both separated from their spouses. They each have 3 kids. They moved in together, have a blended family thing going on. They're not married or engaged or anything, but they're just all living together. And Gina and Travis are in a relationship. But Gina's like, look, we can't afford a house the size that we need to take care of all 6 of our children. And it's causing her a lot of stress. And seems to be a lot of drama with Travis's previous relationship. And so Gina's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like I need to take a step back. I feel like I need to focus on me and my kids and find a place for us to be for right now, in the hopes that one day they'll be able to afford a bigger place and move in together. And, I get what Gina's saying. She is watching out for her and her kids, but it's also hard because Travis was really there for Gina when she was going through her divorce with her ex and all that drama, which Gina and her ex are in a good co-parenting relationship now. So it's like, is Gina really doing the same for Travis? There's probably a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know. But from what she's telling us so far, she is having Travis move out of where they live. Again, this is what I want from my housewives. I want them to bond. I want them to like understand each other, but I also want them to have like silly, dumb, crazy drama. So it's awards time. Emily has some trophies from the flag football game. Gina gets MVP as QB1. She was the quarterback for their team. And then Heather gets the trophy for the least valuable player, which I loved. I thought that was funny. And then there's a You Tried trophy. That goes to Jen. because I don't know, she tried, I guess, and then in Emily's confessional, she was so funny. She was like, "You tried to play the game, you tried to pay your rent, and you tried to drive a Range Rover," which I guess her car got um like she had to turn her car back in or something because she couldn't afford it. I don't know. It was shady. We love a shady confessional. Emily does a sexy photo shoot for her and Shane's 15-year anniversary. That's the next scene we get. So Emily's been on this really big workout kick the last year or two, I would say, and Shannon comes with her on this photo shoot for moral support. And Emily's just talking about like how she's become really obsessed with working out, like to a point where it might be a little unhealthy because she's just so nervous to gain all the weight back that she lost. And I know Emily isn't really a fan favorite on this show, but I've always enjoyed her. I think she's been really honest about things that have gone on in her life, her relationship with her family, her relationship with Shane, her husband, especially back when he was trying to pass the bar exam. That was pretty tenuous on their relationship. So I personally am an Emily fan. I don't see any like major red flags with her. So once the boudoir shoot's done, Emily and Shannon are talking just a little more about John and Alexis, touching back on the gym thing that they used to go to, that Shannon and John used to go to, right? That he's now bringing Alexis to. And it's just like, okay, I get it. I don't want this whole season to be about Alexis and John's relationship. Like, I can't listen to Alexis talk about this man anymore. I don't want it in Shannon's face all the time. I want her to be able to get over it, especially with the DUI she had. I'm sure you've seen it again if you follow any of the Bravo things. She was leaving John's house one night. He was like, "You're a drunk idiot," or something like that. And she wanted to like show him that she was fine, and like gets in her car with her dog, Archie. We love Archie. And then she said she just like hit on the gas really hard because she wanted to rev up her engine. That's kind of like an F you to John. But she ended up going way too fast and she hit and like ran into a house, or like the outside like landscaping of a house. And then the first episode of this season, we see a picture of her where like her face was all bloody. So Shannon has been through a lot. We do not need Alexis to keep bringing up John, which is why I said in the beginning of this OC recap that like I really wish they would have brought Alexis in a little later. A nice mid-season dun 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 villain comes in. That would I think would have been perfect for the show. But it is what it is. Also, okay, one more thing about John and Alexis, because now I'm talking about them all the time. Apparently, John took Alexis to the same hotel for her birthday that he took Shannon to, which is like, dude, like there's so many other hotels out there. Like, stop. This is just weird, right? The same gym, the same hotel. It's just like, okay, whatever. We get a Sutton sighting. So Sutton is from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She joins Katie and Gina for lunch. And she's actually friends with Katie, who's our newest OC housewife. They're talking, they're catching up. Sutton's seeing how Katie's doing with the new group. And we actually find out that Gina's ex-husband used to work for the company that Sutton's ex-husband was the president of, which is just like a small ass world, y'all. It's so crazy. Katie is feeling some type of way with Heather. She's not sure. She brings up that she was tagged in this post on Heather's Instagram, but it's just a picture of Heather by herself. And then in the corner, there's this little Instagram tag from Katie. So I don't know if it was like a drunken mistake, because I think Katie said she had commented on one of Heather's posts at one point. So I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of weird. She said she feels like she's getting two different Heathers, like one that knows her and is nice, and the ones that's like, who are you? Which makes sense. It's Heather. It's Fancy Pants. Well, you know, we'll see how the drama unfolds, but I really hope it's just like a 2 to 3 episode drama thing. Like I said, I like Katie. So far, so good. I don't want her to come in and like have a vendetta against one of the OG housewives already. Like, just come in, slow your roll, find out who you're good with, and then maybe start a little drama towards the end of the season so it can carry on to the next one and make sure you get that next contract. We then get a Shane and Emily health conversation at their house. Again, Shane is worried that Emily is obsessing about working out. to a point where it might look a little unhealthy for the kids. Like, it is good that she is taking care of herself and focusing on being healthy, but trying to find a middle ground of what that looks like. And Emily is concerned that Shane isn't taking care of himself whatsoever. So they're both on like opposite ends of the spectrum here. Emily's obsessing about working out, Shane's not doing anything, and they both have an honest conversation that like they need to find a middle ground of being healthy for themselves and a good example for their kids. So again, it's another reason why I like Emily. She's having these conversations and I don't think they're boring. The episode ends with Gina's boyfriend Travis moving out and packing, and it's just really hard to see. You know, Gina's questioning whether or not it is a good idea, like, especially with the kids. They've been together for a couple of years now. They're all bonding together, and like, is it good for them to separate, you know, and still be together? Like, they're not breaking up. Gina still wants to date Travis. She still wants him in her life. She just wants to change the living situation, but now she's seeing it unfold and just, you know, isn't sure if it was the right decision. But I like seeing these different family dynamics on these shows and, you know, them doing what they think is best for their themselves. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. The next episode, I think it's a good season so far. We'll see what happens. I think our girls are on the up and up here. So I watched the Watch What Happens Live episode with Gina, and there were some polls which did make me feel better about my judgment of Alexis. One of the polls was Alexis telling the truth about how many times her and John had sex? And 99% of people voted no. So again, we just need Alexis to chill. Also, the season's already recorded, right? Like, they can't go in and change it now. But I wish she would have had like a slower entrance into the show. They also asked if Shannon owns the gym that her and John used to work out at, where he's now taking Alexis. And Shannon won 58%. So that's majority. We approve of that. We love a majority vote. Gina mentioned that her relationship with Travis was rough this past year, but things are a lot better now. So I am rooting for them. I hope that Gina makes a bazillion dollars as a realtor and is able to get them a house to all live in. That fits their family. I think that's good. Well, that's all the garbage talk for now. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode. We did it! I'm so excited. Please like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. It'll be on Spotify, on Apple, and on YouTube. And share it with your friends. Share it with anybody who will listen to you. We'll have new episodes every Sunday. So come back next week. And also follow us on Instagram at Wonderful Garbage Pod to stay up to date on all the latest garbage gossip. Until next time.